If you're over 50 and living with joint pain, here's the truth. What's on your plate may be silently fueling your arthritis. Shocking? It should be. Because most Americans are unknowingly eating foods that scientists say could be worsening inflammation in their joints every single day. In this video, we're pulling back the curtain on the top foods you should never eat if you have arthritis, and one of them might be in your pantry right now. Don't take another bite before you watch this. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you had a slice of white bread? Maybe this morning. Or maybe some crackers with your soup, a pastry with your coffee, or even just a bowl of cereal that looked healthy, but wasn't. If any of that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Millions of Americans over 50 reach for refined carbs out of convenience, habit, or taste. But here's the catch. These everyday foods could be silently fanning the flames of your arthritis. Refined carbohydrates, white bread, pasta, baked goods, sugary cereals, and even many low-fat snack foods are stripped of their natural fiber and nutrients. What you're left with is a processed, fast-absorbing starch that quickly converts into sugar in your body. And what does sugar do? It spikes your insulin and fuels inflammation like gasoline on a fire. According to a 2020 study published in the journal Nutrients, diets high in refined carbohydrates are strongly associated with increased levels of C-reactive protein, CRP, a marker for systemic inflammation. High CRP levels are often found in people suffering from rheumatoid arthritis and osteoarthritis flare-ups. But here's the part that surprised me. It's not just about sugar. These refined carbs can actually change the balance of your gut bacteria. That's right. The gut-joint connection is real, and when your microbiome is out of balance, it can lead to immune system dysfunction and chronic inflammation, which often shows up in the joints first. So when we're talking about foods to never eat if you have arthritis, refined carbs are at the top of the list. Not because they're evil, but because they sneak in under the radar. They taste comforting, they feel familiar, and they hurt you quietly over time. If you've noticed your fingers getting stiffer, your knees aching more after lunch, or that low-level joint pain that just won't quit, take a look at your daily carb intake. You might be surprised at how much white flour and sugar you're actually eating. So what's the takeaway here? Swap refined carbs for complex anti-inflammatory alternatives like whole oats, brown rice, quinoa, or sweet potatoes. Not only do these keep your blood sugar steady, but they also support joint-friendly gut health. Up next, a pantry item that seems harmless, but could be slowly destroying the cartilage in your joints. You might think a slice of bacon here or a hot dog at the cookout won't hurt, but if you're struggling with arthritis, especially the kind that flares unpredictably, processed meats may be one of the most dangerous foods on your plate. Now I know, this one's tough. Many of us grew up with sausage on Sunday mornings or deli sandwiches for lunch, but science is painting a very clear picture. Processed meats are loaded with inflammatory compounds that are not just bad for your joints, they're catastrophic over time. Let's break this down. Processed meats include things like bacon, sausage, deli ham or turkey, salami, hot dogs, beef jerky. What do they all have in common? They're preserved with nitrates, high sodium, and sometimes even chemical additives that act like a slow poison to your cartilage. According to a study published in Arthritis and Rheumatology, high consumption of processed meats is associated with increased joint pain, reduced cartilage integrity, and elevated levels of inflammatory cytokines. Those are immune system messengers that make arthritis symptoms worse. One key issue is something called advanced glycation end products, AGEs for short. These are harmful compounds formed when meats are cooked at high temperatures like frying or grilling, and they're especially concentrated in processed meats. AGEs have been linked to oxidative stress and inflammation, both of which are major drivers of joint degeneration. Think of it this way. Your cartilage is like a cushion between your bones. Once that cushion thins or stiffens, your bones start rubbing, and that's where the pain, swelling, and limited mobility come in. And here's the kicker. Many people think switching from red meat to turkey slices is a healthy move, but those turkey slices, if processed, can be just as inflammatory. The sodium alone in one sandwich can exceed your daily limit, promoting water retention and joint stiffness. Now, you might be wondering, do I have to give up all meat? Not necessarily, but processed meat? That's a hard no. Instead, try anti-inflammatory protein sources like wild-caught salmon, rich in omega-3s, skinless chicken breast, lentils and beans, organic tofu, yes, even for meat lovers, it's worth a try, grass-fed lean beef in moderation. If you can't imagine a breakfast without bacon, try switching to nitrate-free turkey bacon or plant-based alternatives. many of which taste surprisingly good and don't wreck your joints in the process. And here's something personal. One of our subscribers sent us a message after cutting processed meat for just 2 weeks. Their knee stiffness went down, and their morning pain dropped by 30%. That's not a miracle. That's science in action. Stick around. Next, we'll talk about a healthy oil that may be quietly damaging your joints every time you cook with it. You've probably heard that cooking at home is healthier than eating out, and most of the time that's true. But what if I told you the oil in your kitchen, the one you use for sautéing veggies or frying eggs, could be silently making your joint pain worse? Let's talk about vegetable oils. Sounds healthy, right? The name itself is misleading. I'm talking about corn oil, soybean oil, sunflower oil, cottonseed oil, canola oil in most cases. These oils are cheap, shelf-stable, and used in nearly every processed food product in America. But there's a catch, and it's a big one. These oils are extremely high in omega-6 fatty acids. Now, your body needs some omega-6 fats, but balance is key. The problem is most Americans today consume 20 times more omega-6s than omega-3, and that's a recipe for inflammation. In a 2018 review, published in the Journal of Clinical Lipidology, researchers found that excessive omega-6 intake disrupts the body's inflammatory response. That means your immune system becomes hyperreactive, attacking healthy tissues like cartilage and joint lining. In simpler terms, these oils could be telling your body, hey, let's stay inflamed all day long. And here's the kicker. You may not even realize how often you're consuming them. They're hidden in salad dressings, store-bought mayonnaise, granola bars, roasted nuts, baked goods, even healthy frozen meals. So if you're making all the right moves, exercising, staying hydrated, taking supplements, but still feel swollen and stiff, your cooking oil might be the missing piece. What's the solution? Swap inflammatory oils for anti-inflammatory fats like extra virgin olive oil, rich in antioxidants and oleocanthal, which has been shown to have ibuprofen-like effects. Avocado oil, great for high-heat cooking and full of heart and joint-healthy monounsaturated fats. Coconut oil, in moderation. It's more stable for frying and less inflammatory than vegetable oils. Flaxseed oil, excellent for cold dishes like salad with high omega-3 content. Pro tip, always check the ingredient list on packaged foods. Even if it says organic, it could still be loaded with soybean oil or canola oil. Here's something one of our viewers shared. After switching to olive oil for cooking and cutting out store-bought salad dressings, her knuckles no longer look swollen in the mornings. Small change, big difference. Bottom line, if you have arthritis, toss out those cheap oils. They're not worth the damage they're doing to your joints. Up next, we'll reveal the one food that seems innocent, even healthy, but could be the sneakiest joint pain trigger of all. Now, this one might surprise you, because for years we've been told, drink your milk for strong bones. But when it comes to arthritis, especially inflammatory types like rheumatoid arthritis or even wear and tear osteoarthritis, dairy might be doing more harm than good. Let's get right into it. Dairy products include at milk, even low-fat, cheese, yogurt, butter, cream. They're everywhere, from your morning coffee to your dinner pasta. And while dairy does offer calcium and protein, it also contains something that can be a real troublemaker for your joints: casein. Casein is a protein that, in some people, can trigger an inflammatory immune response. According to a study published in the Journal of Nutrition and Metabolism, casein can stimulate the production of cytokines, the same inflammatory molecules that cause swelling, pain, and stiffness in arthritic joints. And it doesn't stop there. For many adults over 50, lactose intolerance becomes more common. Even if you don't experience major digestive symptoms, small amounts of undigested lactose can irritate the gut lining, contributing to a condition known as leaky gut, which scientists have linked to autoimmune issues and chronic inflammation. Let's translate that. Your afternoon cheese snack might be feeding your pain, not your bones. Some people say, but I switched to low-fat dairy. Unfortunately, that's often worse. Low-fat versions typically have added sugars or thickeners, which can increase inflammation even further. Here's something fascinating. In a 2015 observational study, patients who eliminated dairy for just 6 weeks reported a significant reduction in joint pain, stiffness, and morning swelling. It doesn't happen to everyone, but if your arthritis feels unpredictable, trying a dairy-free trial could be eye-opening. What can you do instead? Replace dairy with joint-friendly options like an unsweetened almond milk, coconut milk, yogurt, cashew cheese. Nutritional yeast, great for cheesy flavor. Leafy greens for calcium, like kale, collards, spinach. chia seeds and sesame seeds, packed with bone-supporting minerals. And if you really love yogurt, go for unsweetened coconut or almond-based yogurt with live probiotics. These can actually support your gut health and, by extension, reduce systemic inflammation. One of our viewers, Mary from Ohio, told us she gave up cheese for just 3 weeks. And for the first time in years, she could go downstairs without wincing. It's not magic, it's biology. Final thought. Dairy may work for some people, but if you have arthritis, it's worth asking, is it helping or quietly hurting? Coming up next, a quick recap and your next step to healthier joints, starting today. And there you have it. 4 foods that could be quietly fueling your joint pain every single day. Refined carbs, processed meats, inflammatory oils, and even dairy might seem harmless, but for many people over 50, they're like gasoline on the fire of arthritis. If any of these sound like staples in your kitchen, don't panic. Just take one small step today. Swap one food, try a dairy-free week, or change your cooking oil. Your joints will thank you. Have you tried eliminating any of these foods? Did it help? Share your story in the comments. Your experience could help someone else. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a like, subscribe to Arthritis Relief Daily, and turn on the bell for more science-backed tips to keep you moving, pain-free, and in control of your health. See you in the next video, and take care of those joints.